Just on my way to the store for a minute. Just thought I'd get on here and ramble a little bit. It's all right with you guys. Sorry, guys. I'm done drifted off. um, just thinking of some things. Let's talk about time. How do you all feel about time? Now, I know when I was younger, I didn't think nothing of it. Didn't think nothing of time at all. Um, really didn't understand it. I remember the first time that I became aware of time. I was, what's up, man? Shit, son. Hey. uh, on my way to the store, just thinking about time. So let's talk about it. Me and you've had plenty of conversations about time, and I was just saying that I remember when I became aware of time, I was fully aware of time around about 16. I realized I was getting ready to be an adult pretty soon. I didn't really have a okay. Uh, as the years go on, you become more aware and understanding of what time is. Now, wouldn't you agree with that? All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and give you all a view. All right, here we go. Time is a thief. Man, well, that's neat. Let's see what else she had to say here, bro. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I respect I respect time more than I ever have. I know I cannot beat time. Um, one of the things that my father said, and today's the anniversary of his death, by the way. One of the things that he taught me before he died was, you're guaranteed, son, to do two things: stay black and die. That's guaranteed. I know one of them's a guarantee now. Michael Jackson proved the other one wrong. Uh, that's one guarantee. You're gonna die. Few things that has happened over the years that has motivated me, but also it's been a burden, so to speak, over the years. And that is one, nothing is guaranteed. Okay? And what I mean by that is that my company used to pay a pension, and I told you all this before, but my company paid me a pension, and thank you, brother. And they decided they're going to freeze that pension. I had plans for that pension that was going to help take care of me and my wife in our golden years. And then when I died, and which that's my prayer, that I die before her, that pension was going to take care of her, or help take care of her. All right. So the company decided they're going to freeze that pension. Right. So what do? Do I continue to work until I'm 70, 80, 85, 90 years old? I mean, it'd be a blessing if I could have the strength to be able to do that. Not that I want to. But I hope you all get what I'm saying. Or do I start putting a plan together now to where I know that once I close my eyes, my wife and my kids will be okay. Leave them something behind, because the good book says that. The Bible says a righteous man leaves some stuff behind. I'm paraphrasing there. That's not a direct quote, okay? But it's in there. I will find it and I will tell you all where it's at. But a good man is to leave something behind for his family, okay? So that's what I'm working on. That's what my friend is working on. I've got a couple other folks working on it. There's even some young folks thinking about this and trying to get it done. And like I said, it's a blessing and it can be a curse, because my time, and me and my brothers talked about this, my time is running short. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to run out of time before I accomplish what I want to accomplish. Now, you can say that's lack of faith, whatever you want to say. That's just how I feel. You know, that's something me and the Lord's going to have to deal with together. But being full transparent, I know after today, my dad was just 20 years older than me when he passed away. So if I were to live as long as he does, that means I may only have 20 years left, and I could have less. I could have more. But we're just going to say, let's say I only have 20 years left. 47 years went by pretty quick. Pretty quick. It's really, yeah. I don't take it lightly. And there's a lot of things that I would like to do, that I want to do, that I want to accomplish. I've talked to you guys over several time periods. What is there? Deer out or what? Somebody just flashed their lights. See no deer. Maybe it's a cop. I don't know. But anyway, we were talking about prioritization. I talked about this in several other lives, about prioritizing things in your life. What do you want out of life? You prioritize to get there, and you try to figure out what is the best move to get there. Just look back on my videos on that one. I'm not going to go through that all the way again. But yeah. Alright. I am at the store, folks. Alright, gang. I'm going to let y'all sit still just for a second. I got to run into the store. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see what we got here. I should have. I should have. Yes, I should have. Hell, I might be out your way tomorrow anyway, if you don't mind. Oh boy. You know, it's really. I appreciate you, brother. You know, when you were, I'll speak for myself. When I was young and ignorant, um, didn't really know much, thought I knew more than what I did. But you know that old saying, ignorance is bliss? That's got some truth to it. I mean, because once you become aware of things, there is no more um, ignoring situations, or I don't know how to explain it. It makes it it makes things harder to deal with when you know way things are supposed to be. Oh geez, y'all hold on a minute. Let me get ready to get out of here. All right, I'm headed back to the house. Oh me. Oh man. So let me talk about something else here. So let's talk about spiritual journey. So I'll speak for myself as far as my spiritual journey. Tell you what, the walk with the Lord, the walk with Christ, for me is it's a blessing. It's a blessing, but it's not for the there's the deer. Okay. It's not for the faint of heart. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, when you follow the Lord, you have to die to yourself. I don't know if y'all know what that means. That means that it's not no longer about you and what you want, but it's about glorifying the Lord and lifting Him up so He can be seen. If that makes sense, that's just my little analogy there. When you start your journey, your spiritual journey with Christ, you have to realize now you are a tool, and you have to allow Him to use you so you can help save souls, so you can help get people. There is another deer. Jeez, them things is everywhere. Y'all see him? It's right there. There he is. Just standing there, just as bold as you please. I ain't even scared. Them things are dangerous. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and uh, just to add to that, be be prepared to jump with no parachute. That's the greatest analogy because you got to you as these young kids would say you got to be 10 toes down for Christ. He wants all of you. All right, and one of the reasons why the journey's difficult is not because of him. It's because of me. It's because it's hard for me to remove myself and what I want out of the way to glorify him and lift him up the way he deserves. And I know he will provide. I mean, he said that he provides for the sparrows. You don't see birds going out to work to make wages. They go out and they live off the land. So, I mean, he will provide. It's all about what you're willing to do. Okay? Um, and that's one thing that I've learned not only in the spiritual journey but in this business journey is you reap what you sow. If you really think that you're going to sit back and God's going to drop stuff in your lap and you're going to benefit from it, then you need to rethink things. God will provide, but he also gave you 2 legs, 2 arms, a brain, senses. And one of the things that I've always talked about is, okay, if God gives you $1 million now, are you going to stop working? What are you going to do with that $1 million? Are you just going to be mindless with it? Or are you going to put a strategy together? But if you don't think you can't spend $1 million in a day, then you're not very financially literate. Financial literacy is knowing how your assets work. So God gives you a home, and this is where I was illiterate because I had a home for 2 years before I decided to do anything with it because I did not know any better. I didn't want to sacrifice. I did not want to be a landlord or put the money into the house to make it better. I didn't see the value in it. And I think a lot of people miss the value in sacrifice. When you die to yourself, you're sacrificing yourself for the Lord. You're allowing him to get into the driver's seat, and you're allowing him to drive the car and get you to your destination. Becoming a servant, so you have to do what he says do. You have to obey his commandments. You got to obey his word. But he's also your friend. I know a lot of people thinking, oh, I'm a servant and a friend. Yeah, because John 15:15, he says, I no longer, because I will make known to you what my Father makes known to me. Okay, so Give me a second. I'm going to read that. All right, I'm going to take this back to me. You can barely see me as it is, but you don't need to see me. I don't want to scare nobody. There's nothing like a nice little drive to clear your head, and thank you guys for allowing me to get my thoughts out. And recognizing, you helped me recognize some things just by letting me ramble. Now I don't feel crazy. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. But yeah, this spiritual journey and the business journey and the personal journey, it is it can have its rocky moments, but by I call my rocky moments, and it has nothing to do with. I don't feel it has anything to do with God, because He's not into nothing bad. I don't think He allows. I don't think He creates any bad situations. You, me, situations by our choices and whether or not we listen to Him. All right. Because every choice has a reward or a consequence. And if you don't sacrifice for your choice when it requires it, think about that one. You have a choice. And if that choice requires a sacrifice and you do not sacrifice, what do you think you're going to get out of that? What do you think you're going to get out of that choice? Okay. My auto, oh, there you are. Autos didn't want to come on. So just think about that, guys. That'll be the thought for the day. If you have a choice and that choice requires sacrifice, what are the consequences if you don't sacrifice? I can almost tell you what it would be for me. It would be a consequence, and not through with your choice, or your blessing for that matter. Let's say your blessing requires a sacrifice. Do you think you're going to get that blessing if you don't sacrifice? I mean, the sacrifice could very well be giving up smoking or giving up eating pork. Reward for that. If God tells you, hey, you need to give up this pork, cholesterol is high, you won't have a stroke or a heart attack. You be disobedient, this is what's going to happen. Now it's your choice. The ball's in your court. A lot of people don't realize the ball is in their court. And then when they drop the ball, it's always somebody else's fault. That's not true. Ugh. Dropping this, Tell me what y'all think about that. Am I right, wrong, indifferent? Got a different idea, different approach? And I'm getting ready to read what my put here. Oh, shut up. Let's see what we got. So just remember, if where you're at doesn't make you happy, God will keep allowing it to get worse until you move. Guy on the island telling all the ships to leave because he's waiting on a miracle. Huh. Yeah, I've got something similar to that myself, and that is the truth. You have to move. If God tells you to move, you got to move. So, a good example of moving. Okay, I want y'all to listen to this for a second, then I'm gonna get off here. A good example of me finally getting off my tail, getting off my butt, and moving was fixing my first house up and getting it prepared to rent. All right, we had that house. My mother turned that house back over to us. Um, oh goodness, we had it for at least 2 years. Um, and then they had it probably about 3 years before that. But anyway, it took me 2 years and a swift kick in the butt by my company for me to say, you know what, I need to move on this. I mean, I had people telling me, what I'm not gonna say people. I had my wife telling me we should fix that up and rent it out, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't feel like being a landlord. I got my plan together. I'm just gonna make this work, and we're gonna be all right. Well, plan don't always go as planned. Things don't always go as planned. So I had to call an audible. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to pivot. You got a plan. You got everything in motion. But when things don't seem right, you got to step back. You got to reassess. And sometimes you got to say, hey, I can't go this route. I need to veer off here. I need to go this route. Yeah, and you have to get your pride out the way. Does that make sense? You have to get your pride out the way. Uh, Pride is a dream killer. I believe that wholeheartedly. Pride is a dream killer. Pride will not allow you to take direction. Pride will not allow you to ask for help. And pride will not allow you to maneuver. Pride puts a blindfold on you and it leads you. So you've got to be able to get yourself out of the way, just like in your spiritual journey, in your business and personal journey. You have to move yourself out of the way and allow the Lord to work. Absolutely. Pride, ego, and entitlement. People thinking that they're entitled to something. Yeah. Ego. Ego is a big one. Ego's a big one. So, how do you die to yourself? How can you put yourself away once and for all? I don't know. How do you say, hey, I'm going to follow God no matter what? because there were certain instances in the New Testament where it talks about that a rich man comes to Jesus and he was like, how do I get this living water you speak of? And Jesus told him to sell all of his goods and let his servants go free and come follow him. And the rich man went away sorrowful. He was very upset that he was going to have to do that. And it didn't say that he did. He just said he walked away. He couldn't let go of his possessions. He couldn't sacrifice. How many of us could? I mean, I'm not a rich man per today's standards, but could I sell everything I have and give it to the poor and go follow Christ? It's a good question. I know right after that, Jesus had a quote where he said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter heaven. But then he also goes on to say that, but God is the God who can do impossible things. I want y'all, did y'all hear that? It is easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than it is a rich man to make it into heaven. But we serve a God who can make the impossible possible. So even there, because a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of sermons stop short at the camel and the needle, and they don't finish it. So it makes you think that being rich is bad, that it's impossible, you can't go to heaven if you're rich. Jesus finished that by saying you can get there, but it's going to be hard for you to get there if you're rich. Now, why is that? Well, one thing is you have access. When you're rich, you have access to things that nobody else has access to. Bless me so that I can bless others. Amen, brother. Amen. But you know, one thing that I've learned too in the business sense that I can apply to the spiritual sense as well is that you have to be prepared for God's blessings. God can bless you, but if you are not prepared to handle his blessings, those blessings can turn into something else. It goes along with the saying in the business that I'm in that I've heard several times. If you mess up little money, you'll mess up big money. So if you'll mess up your little blessings, or what we consider little blessings, because God does nothing little, then when you finally get the blessing that you're looking for, guess what you're going to do? If you ain't prepared for it, you're going to mess it up. It ain't got nothing to do with God. It's got everything to do with you. Are you willing to be prepared for what God's got for you? Which goes back to dying to oneself. We have to put ourselves aside and put him first. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I've learned something else too. Once you recognize that, then just pray that He gives you the strength and the knowledge on how to turn that to the good. That He will give you the strength and the knowledge to make that situation a good situation. I've been in situations, man, where, well, I'll tell you this. All right, so I've got a situation, or I had a situation where well, I will go back to the beginning when I was younger. Before me and my wife got married, we were looking for a place to live, and I had never rented before in my life. Never stayed in an apartment or a rental home. When I was raised in my mother and father's home. They owned their home. Okay. So we're trying to decide, do we buy or do we rent? And fear kept me from thinking clearly, and ignorance kept me from doing research. So we ended up renting. All right. And those were good experiences, because along the way you learn. And if you don't learn, then something's wrong. But hold on a minute. You all? What's up, baby? Hold on, I'm going to mute it. Sorry about that. I will say this, and then I'll end it. But through the renting, through the ignorant decisions that I've made, going through the fear, it has taught me a lot. I learned a little bit slower than others. I sure will. He told me I had some work to do, so I'm going to get in here and get that taken care of. But after I dropped the fear and my relationship with Christ has grown, and don't get me wrong, I ain't perfect. I start to notice, and I'm starting to get, God's allowing me to see more things. He's allowing me to get the knowledge that I need to get to where I am, or get to where I'm going. And I think back those many years ago, all those houses that me and my wife looked at that we could have probably bought and been okay. We didn't know what the future held for us, and that was a lack of faith on my part. I'm just like, I never wanted to be a failure. And I'll tell you all this. When I got married, she became my top priority. And I did not want to fail her. I did not want her to have to struggle. I wanted her to have a better life than she's ever had. That's what I wanted. That's the gift I wanted to give my wife. That fear of failing her has caused issues. It's caused issues. Me going too far or not gonna say too far, but too cautious, and me not communicating well enough to get her or anybody else for that matter to understand why I was too cautious. I was one track minded. I was looking to make the best life possible. And the last one is I didn't really understand, but then I understand now. Back then, I excluded God in a lot of my life, in a lot of my decision making. So I hope this helps somebody. At the end of the day, guys, we're only human. We're going to make mistakes. But learn from me. And what I mean by that is, hold on a minute. Then it's for the kids. Then when you get them almost 50, you realize life doesn't pass you by before you got a chance to enjoy it. Say that again. Say that again. Because at the end of the day, what I really did, and this is just a revelation that just come to me right now, what I really did is I didn't die to self for God. I died to myself. I put myself last for my wife and kids. But I didn't do that for God. Almost, I ain't gonna say every move, but almost every move I made, as I put them first. But when it came to God, I had to think about it. When it came to the collection plate, when it came to helping people, so I have to put him first. He's supposed to come before anybody, before my mother, before my wife, before my kids, before anybody. And I didn't do that. I'm starting to learn that now. I'm starting to get better at it. I think. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I still have a long way to go, y'all. Put him first. Allow him to lead you. Tune your ears into his voice. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, some people don't even get the big piece of chicken, bro. I try to, I'm trying to keep everything in perspective. There's a little piece of me that's like, oh, well, I want this, I want to do that, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, I have to work on my patience. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I've been taking up enough of your time. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Brother, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to do my best to get over that way tomorrow. Holler at you. I got a few things to talk to you about anyway. And you all have a great night. It's a beautiful night out. And I'm going to get in here and get to work. All right. Love you guys. Y'all be good. Love you too, brother.